I'm a secondary school graduate. I studied in a Catholic school in Lagos State, and I got transferred later to a different school in my hometown in Anambra State. The Catholic school I began my secondary school education looked more like this. It was a very reputable school. It was very popularly known. It had good educational facilities. It had standard laboratory equipment. It had internet access, which ensured that every student had infinite access to knowledge they needed to actually become very good individuals very well educated individuals in future. The school I got transferred into, on the other hand, wasn't as good as the former. It was actually located in a very remote village. I faced different challenges on being transferred to this new school. The first one I had was that I found it difficult moving into a boarding school. So for the boarding students here, those parents among us that went to boarding, most of you would actually remember or would relate with me how difficult it is to be in a boarding school with a low budget. I also faced the difficulty of learning to speak Igbo. And I also faced the difficulty of paying attention in classes because the teachers there taught without visuals. They taught in Igbo and they taught without visuals. And for a student like me, who came from a school that actually used visuals intensively to teach students, I found it difficult to cope, and I regularly felt sleepy in class. But as time went on, I learned to overcome these challenges. I found out that I couldn't cope with learning in class because I couldn't keep up. So I decided to think, and I went forward to go outside the class to study from textbooks where I learned better, since I found it difficult to learn in class. And after some months, it actually helped me. I was able to keep up with the curriculum taught in classes, and I actually did better in my academics. And this method actually worked very well for me, because I did well in my final year examinations, and I also ended up as one of the highest JAMB scorers in my local government area. And with my struggle to learn Igbo, I actually became better. Opeketa mpe, nga nzuko mụ na aga m aghọta ihe a na-ekwu. So I left secondary school and got back home. I started thinking about my life. I started to reminisce on the classmates I had while I was in secondary school. And while I was thinking about them, there was this thing I discovered among the classmates in the school I attended first and the school I ended up graduating from. What I noticed was that you could group the students in a class into categories. Now, these are the students that always get A's. These are the students that top the class. And they are the students that our parents normally refer to as those students that have two heads. Then, following these students, you will see the average students. They don't do as well as these highly intelligent students, but at least they pass exams, they fail some, they get promoted to the next class. They are just average. And then there are these underachieving students who actually find it very difficult to be students. Now, as I discovered this, I started to think about it, and I started to wonder, what made these students different? Why do some students do so much better than others, especially when they were taught the same thing in the same class by the same teacher and also at the same time? Now, most of you here will be thinking it's because normally some students study better than the other students. Some other people would argue that some are just naturally gifted, while others would also say that some had very good early educational background. But I would like to add to this argument that the reason for this is that different students have different motivations towards their studies. But most of you here would actually think that to help students to become better, you need to increase their study time. When I was in secondary school, our school manager increased our study time by taking out our daily games time. So this was actually very stressful for some students. It actually helped many students, actually. Many students performed better, but that only works for the highly achieving students. It didn't work so well for these underachieving students whom this policy was trying to affect. So which shows that even if you increase the study time as well as the educational resources you give to a student and even attention you give to a student without helping the student discover the need for that education, then all these efforts will be in vain. From my thoughts, I think that to help ourselves to become academically better, we first of all need to be optimistic. So for these underachieving students and for these average students, it's actually possible to become better. It's actually better to become a highly intelligent student. All it takes to do that is actually that motive, that drive to do it. You also need to learn to know that learning in schools isn't just about passing examinations. We need to know that the reason for our education is to prepare us, to give us skills to help us in our future career. We need to learn to seek knowledge from any source we can, from books, from textbooks, from people's life experiences, or from anywhere we can lay our hands on educational material. And also, we need to collaborate with people that have the same mindset as you do. There's this joke I heard from a friend. His mother told him to become friends with people that were better than him. Now, I looked at this guy, and what I saw in him was that he didn't have so many friends, because the people that he was seeking to make friends with did not want to be friends with him because he was not better than them. So which shows that if everyone looks to make friends or build partners with people that are better than them, then there will be no actual improvement on anyone's side. On my part on learning Igbo, I didn't learn it on my own. I was doing better academically than most of my classmates, but I learned Igbo from them. And without learning this Igbo, I don't really think I would have been able to cope in secondary school where everyone communicated in Igbo most of the time. These are some steps that you can use to become better in academics. To my fellow students here, education is more of a thing of struggle. It is not an easy thing. All it takes for us to be well educated is to persevere and learn that we need to put in effort to get things that we need. Because it's a generally known thing that good things don't normally come easily to us. To our parents, mentors, and teachers out here, I want to plead with you to allow our students to have this supportive environment where they believe that they can become better. We need to help them learn that education is not a thing they do because they would stay at home playing games all day if they were not in school. We need to help them learn that they need education to build skills for themselves that they will use when they grow older. To end my talk, I want to say that academic success is as a result of so many factors. But the most important factor that is there is the student's drive towards their education. If the student has enough motivation to become better and to become a very intelligent individual in the society, then if the other factors are absent, then this student would actually perform well in academics. Let us not only give a student the attention, the educational facilities, but also to work to let them know the need for their education so that they would actually use it as a drive to become better individuals in future. Thank you.